Assalamualaikum everyone, we are back again with another episode of the Crossbar Perspective podcast and जैसे कि हमारी सीरीज चल रही है जहाँ पे हम प्लेयर्स को ला रहे हैं डिफरेंट शेयर होल्डर्स को ला रहे हैं पाकिस्तान फुटबॉल के to talk about football. We have been joined by Eman Mustafa today, who has played for the Pakistan national team and she is playing in Football Factory's women team in Islamabad. And today we'll talk to her about her experiences, how she started. Let's jump straight into it. Assalamualaikum Eman, क्या हाल है आपका?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। आई एम गुड। आप कैसे हैं?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So, Iman, let's just start right away. And why don't we dive in? How did you start playing football, and where did the idea of playing football came from?
Um, okay, so my journey in football started at a very young age. Like I can't even put a number on it, like 4, 5, 6 years around that time. And basically हुआ कुछ इस तरह था कि when I was young, I was very close to my older cousins who were boys, and they were big fans of Manchester United. And so I got into football through them, and we used to play outside in the lawn, and we basically just used to play football, and I really enjoyed it. So I just kept on playing, and then in school I used to play with the boys because we were all like young at that time. So we would just play football, and uske through I actually like got better and better. And then when I was at the age of around 10, I started watching YouTube videos how to shoot a free kick like Messi, how to dribble like Messi, and I just used to
I'm assuming
train in
your
my.
your your idol is Messi.
Oh yes, Messi, Barcelona, die-hard Barcelona fan. I'm a cooler through and through.
Not good times to
Yeah.
live right now, I guess.
No, very good times. Hansi Flick is bringing us back.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but we're still on the top, so.
Okay, okay, not for much longer. Don't worry.
Sure,
Fair.
we'll see. Okay, coming to
Yeah.
the point, like you told us that you started playing at a very early age. What position did you start at?
I actually started as a winger.
Oh, okay.
I
And
used
right
to
now
play
you're
on the
mid,
wings.
right?
No, right now I'm actually playing as a striker. But
Okay.
I can't really say that I play at one specific position because it depends.
Hmm.
For example, in the National Women's Championship, I was playing as a striker, and then in the Qaeda-e-Azam games,
Yeah.
I was playing as a midfielder. So it
Yeah, that's
honestly
that's
just
where I saw you.
depends.
So gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. And what position do you prefer more?
Honestly, if I could pick the ideal position, it would either be an
Because
attacking midfielder.
at least a striker and a winger, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Even from the finishing perspective or the poacher. So which one do you prefer?
Honestly, striker, but at the same
Hmm.
time, not a traditional striker. I prefer the role of a false nine
Oh, okay.
because usme jo hai na, as a false nine, I feel like you see the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
And fallback
one
का
thing that I
change game
hate,
सारा change हो जाता है.
hmm, one thing that
Yeah.
I hate is just like running after the ball at like random through balls. So like I like having the ball at my feet, like taking the ball forward, driving and stuff like that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So let's change the topic a bit. And you started quite early. So how was your family? Like, were they supportive about it? And what were the challenges you faced, even in like early age or even right now?
Okay, so my family has always been extremely supportive. Like, I'm very lucky in that way that my parents are unbelievably supportive, my grandparents as well. So, when I first started playing football, the only challenge for me was that there was no proper club in Islamabad that I knew
Yeah.
of. So, I was just
Yeah.
playing on a school level. There was no club. Like, Legacy just got made. Smurfs is old, but I didn't really know about them. So, honestly, just not having a club. So I had to train on my own, train with like my school coaches, stuff like that. That was a big challenge. Like, and other than that, my family has been very supportive. They've like given me everything that I needed to play football. In fact, one little story about how supportive my family is that in December when I got called up for the what's it called, the friendlies against Saudi Arabia,
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually had an
Camp.
SAT. Yeah,
Oh,
I had an
okay.
SAT exam.
You're
So
in your A levels right now.
I'm an A2 now.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
So I actually had an SAT to give, but my father actually said he was like, forget the SAT, go play for the national team, play football. It's like even when it comes to school, they prefer football over school. So they're very supportive in that way.
Makes sense. Besides the family part, did you face any challenges or difficulties? Because as you mentioned that we didn't have coaching facilities in the start. Even when I was a kid, we didn't have coaches besides even in Lahore, besides the big schools like LGS or HSN. Besides those schools, no other schools even offered coaching in football. And all we had to do is learn on our own. And the games we played were usually nine-a-side games, which don't even exist anymore. So besides the family part, what challenges did you face being a girl in a community where before us, the female population of Pakistan wasn't too much into football, but now we see a change, a really good change. So, what are your views on that?
Honestly, just being a female player, like finding other female players to play with, that's a very big challenge. Yani, you can always play with boys. Like there's so many
Yeah,
boys who you can play football with, but there are very
yeah,
few girls, at least in Islamabad. And like even if you find players to play with, they have to be good players because after you reach a certain level, you can't play with players who like don't
I
know
agree.
how to play because
You
then you're
always,
just ruining
whenever
your
you're
main
playing,
game.
the company or what needs to be better than you so you can grow. Yeah,
Exactly. Yes. So that's also a very big challenge, like finding good players to play against. Like there's no competition, at least in Islamabad.
gotcha.
Like
So
when,
right now you're in Football Factory, and obviously you're under one of the best coaches in Pakistan, I believe. How's that experience going, and how's the competition in Football Factory, and how's your personal experience going? Did Football Factory help you in any personal way get improve the game?
okay, so basically I started with Football Factory like 3 weeks before the national championship.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, around that time.
I think that's
So
around the time they eventually launched their female football team. Yeah,
no, they launched their female football team around like 7 or 8 months before
six
the
months ago.
national
Yeah.
championship. Yeah, 6 months or something. So when I joined them, I um I was like on the bench, okay, because like nobody knew how I played or anything like that, as expected. So over time, as I got more familiar with the with my teammates and with the coaches, they understood how I played, and they actually really did help me. So for example, Sir Hamza Nusrat, he's our head coach at Legacy. He actually explained to me that in your position as a striker, do these so and so drills to improve. Or watch videos of so and so to improve. So उस तरह से they have really helped me. But I think that the biggest way that Football Factory and Legacy has helped me is by actually having a place where I can play football with other people. So like if we have weekly sessions, every weekend we have 3 sessions. वहाँ पे we have like 10, 12 girls who come together. We have like proper training sessions. We play matches against each other. तो उस तरह से जो है ना, it's really given me a way to train because there's only so much that you can do on your own. And
Yes,
then having those coaches teaching me and having teammates to play against and not just like anyone, like good teammates, like people who have a good
definitely.
idea of how to play football. So I think that that's the
Well, how was the
biggest
how
way
was
that
the
they've
scouting
helped me.
process? You told us that obviously you hadn't played for any club, and if you look at the rest of the squad, the Fazan pick, a lot of them have played in the national team, right? And then we have some international diasporas as well. How did he pick you, and like how did you come across Football Factory? What was the scouting process like?
Okay, so it started like this. When Football Factory's Legacy Women's Project was launched, they had trials, and I went to
Yeah.
those trials,
Oh,
and I
okay.
was selected for the team.
Oh,
But
okay, okay.
because of my studies and stuff like that, I had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this like 6 month period or 7 month period where I wasn't playing for Legacy, like I wasn't in any club. And then, as the national championship got closer, I got a message from Sir Hamza Nusrat, and he said, "Do you want to come play for Legacy for in the national championship?" And so basically, at that time, I told them that it depends on the dates because I actually had to go to the US. I was in the US for a month before the national championship. So I was like, it depends on the dates. And पहले तो कुछ इस तरह था that the dates were clashing while I was in the US and the national championship was being held.
Mm-hmm.
And then कोई delay हुआ था. I think it got delayed once. And then
Mm-hmm.
because of that delay, I was actually able to play because I had come
Gotcha.
back by that time.
Gotcha. So
So
that I mean, at the end, it was fortunate because I believe in the championship, you also won the Golden Boot and you scored goals.
I did.
So that
Mm.
was maybe a highlighting part of your career. And
Oh,
yeah, so
definitely.
So before that, where did you play futsal in Islamabad?
Um, Not really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I played like one match for SFA
Oh
once,
yeah. Which
or
which format do you prefer
honestly,
between 11 and
football,
football?
11 aside
Yeah.
football, most
Yeah.
definitely. I feel like the space you have and the stuff you can do in 11 aside is so much more fun.
Yeah, exactly. And coming to the national team, you got a call out, I believe, in this was your first call out, right? The friendlies with
Uh,
Saudi and Qatar.
no, I was first called up for the SAF games,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, the camp was in Islamabad. I spent like 4 or 5 days with the team, but then um, I wasn't ready and stuff like that. So I was set aside as a reserve player.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if anyone gets injured or anything like that, I'd
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
called up again. Um, लेकिन उसमें भी ना once I was like let go, I kept on going to the sessions. Like Coach Adil said that you can keep on coming to the sessions, train with the national team. So I kept on doing that until they actually flew out to Nepal for the staff games. And after that, I was just like training on my
What
own.
was something you think you improved from that day to the next camp, and maybe something you think you improved that caught their eye, and they were like, okay, it's time to give her a time, and at least start with the starting 11 or the bench maybe.
Okay, so I think I improved in everything. Like when I first came to the camp, I was under so much pressure and stuff like that because you're playing with people like Maria Khan, Soha Hirani,
Yeah,
and like such huge names. So I had a
yeah.
lot of pressure. For me, it was basically as soon as I got the ball, I was just like, who do I give it to next? Like, don't try anything, just pass it to the next person and get rid
You
of
were
it.
you weren't confident and start on the
Yes, I
ball.
wasn't
Yeah.
confident at all, and I think that that really was a handicap for me, my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then once I was let go and I kept on coming to the sessions, I felt like a huge boost in confidence because I was like, there's nothing on the line. I have nothing to lose anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started playing more confidently. And in the last match, we had like matches against each other. On the last day, in the last match, I was actually playing so much better than the first day because I was holding the ball, I was giving through balls, I was actually playing at a level where you could feel like this person knows how to play football, you know? I was playing like that. So I think in that way, on that day, they actually, this is what I think, that they saw that, okay, this person does know how to play football. She has something to give. And that's why they called me back. That's what I think, at
What was
least.
the camp environment like? Comparing that to Football Factory. Obviously we have some names in Football Factory. The captain, I mean, she's an amazing player. She's an amazing motivation for all of the other players in camp when she was a part of the national team. And then we have a lot of players. We have Kaya, and all of those players playing in Football Factory. What was your experience comparing Football Factory to Pakistan national team?
Oh, it's totally different. So, in the national team, everyone is there with like a set goal. Everyone is serious about playing.
Hmm.
In our club football, see, since there are no tournaments and not a lot of them aren't in the national team, there isn't like this huge drive. There isn't this urgency. In the national team, there's always this urgency. Like I have to be the best at what I'm doing, and I can't make mistakes. In Legacy, it's a little bit more calm and a little bit more chill, sort of, which is a good thing, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's club football. We don't have a lot of tournaments, but everybody has ambition in the national team because they're going to play like the SAF or friendlies against Saudi. So they have that ambition, they have that drive in them that they always have to be the
What's the
best.
skill level you can compare, like maybe the individual skills obviously, and then the coaching skills. How would you compare the coaching level on the national team with Coach Adil Resti, and then yourself in Football Factory? What's the main thing you can say कि शायद ये एक चीज है जो नेशनल टीम पे फोकस करते हैं, जो शायद फुटबॉल फैक्ट्री पे भी फोकस करनी चाहिए हमें ड्यूरिंग ट्रेनिंग्स और फ्रेंडली मैचेस.
So basically, let me just start off by saying that Coach Adil is like one of the best coaches I've ever played against.
100%, yeah, I agree
For
with that.
Yeah, he's the best I've ever played for. So I think that his way of thinking, like I feel like he knows what he's talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he explains it to you, the way he teaches you, it's like very good. Let me give you one example. For example, when I was at camp in Karachi, like an unofficial camp, we were having this training session, and
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to take a defender. I was just like
Mm-hmm.
supposed to attract a defender out of the box with me. So I unknowingly ran outside the pitch, like towards the goalpost outside the pitch, and I brought that defender with me. And I didn't know that. But Coach Adil brought me aside and he explained to me that so what you did there, you ran outside the pitch, you attracted them. That's good going. You should keep on doing that. Like do this, do this. So like he notices stuff that you don't notice yourself. And then he
Gotcha.
explains that to you so
I
that you
think
can do
that's
it
how
again.
a coach should be at that level because
Yes.
you're playing against giants like Saudi Arabia. We will be coming to that point how that experience was. But then you have some huge talents playing in your own team. You have Lesforos coming in. Talking about that, how was the environment with Lesforos? Like I asked this question to almost all of the players I interview from the national team. How was the interaction with them, and did that be a little or did it improve with time?
My interactions with everyone at the national team were great. I mean, the diasporas and Pakistanis, I feel like the locals, we were all pretty chill and everything.
Hmm.
I didn't have any negative interactions with anyone. Then again, this was my like first
First camp, yeah.
actual tour with them. Um, and I feel like there's not really any tension between anyone. We're all pretty chill,
I think
and
on the female team, it's pretty chill. We have heard some
yeah, it's
rumors
very
about the
chill.
men's national team,
Mhm.
problems between the local and the for us. Talking about your match with Saudi Arabia, what was that experience like? What did you notice between the girls playing in that team? Obviously, all of them are playing in the Pro League. A lot of them are playing in the Saudi Pro League, which is a huge thing right nowadays. What was the main thing that you noticed between their playing style and yours? Personally and as a team.
Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying that I felt like the quality in our team was a lot more than the quality in the Saudi team.
Okay.
The main
Okay.
difference that I saw was just their connection play. I
That
don't know
that
whether
comes
it's
with experience,
because,
yeah.
yeah, it comes with experience. So for us, when we went to play against Saudi, we didn't have any like proper camp. We went like 3 days before the match and we just played 3 times together before actually playing against Saudi. And you can't create that chemistry in such little time. I felt like since Saudi had been playing like a long time together before the match as well, their chemistry was better than ours. Like the passes they were making and like the way they knew where each player is at what point in time, like that was something that I felt like they had that we didn't.
Do you
I
think
feel
do you
like
think
maybe
do you think they had a coaching edge over us? Like the tactics their coach was playing with because previously I interviewed Sophia Qureshi and Sarah Khan, and one thing they mentioned a lot was that the midfield the Saudi was playing, they cracked the midfield. Like they weren't letting the ball through the midfield, and they were like stopping the ball over there, Pakistan side's ball. And that was a huge problem that you guys faced. Did you face that challenge as well? And like what was your take on that?
yes, definitely. But like I said, I don't think that that's because of their coaches. I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's because of our lack of chemistry. For example, our
Mm-hmm.
build-up, we've trained a lot on like building up the ball from the back. But then
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the match, we weren't able to do that. I don't know whether it was because of a lack of chemistry or whatever. Like, we were unsuccessful in doing that. Um, but I feel like that was mainly our own issue. I don't think that giving Saudi credit for doing that. I don't think so. I think that that was our issue. I feel like
Well,
maybe
the
if we
thing,
had more
well, the
time
thing
to
is
train.
that, well, the thing is that this is also a huge thing that we are confident in our own team, comparing it to the Saudi national team, which is a huge thing, obviously. I was even surprised the way we were playing. It was a really clean game from our side and really good football to see. Keeping that aside, what was the most challenging game you have played? Maybe in the Qaeda games or the National Championship Cup or the Saudi. Which was the most challenging one? And yeah.
So I actually didn't play against Saudi, but the most challenging
Yeah,
game for me was the final of the national championship against Legacy versus Karachi City.
I was
Um,
gonna talk
I
about
think
that in a moment.
that was the most challenging match for me,
Hmm.
definitely.
What actually happened? Because my next question literally was that you obviously guys lost, but considering that Football Factory made the women team 6 months ago, and you guys starting training, I think what I've heard 4 months ago or something like that before the championship. So how was the morale of the team, and how do you guys cope with that strong side of Karachi City FC? Because I think the whole team has played in the national team, and the chemistry a bit between them, and then Coach Adil Risky coaching them. What was the atmosphere like?
Okay, so our mentality was such that we thought we could win. We had this in our minds that we're gonna go and we're gonna win this game. Like, our coach as well, he had told us about their players, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what we need to do against them. So I went in pretty confident. I feel like the rest of the team went in pretty confident as well. And मेरे तो दिमाग में यही था that हम जाएंगे and we will win. लेकिन when we went ना, I feel like after we conceded the first goal, we really
In the
lost our
final?
confidence. Yeah, in the final.
Hmm.
Because we lost 4-0. So the first goal that we
Yeah.
conceded now, after that we lost our confidence. But I feel like the
I
main
think I
issue,
think you guys played pretty well in the first game because you played two games. The first one was really
yeah,
good.
the first one was we lost 3-0.
Yeah.
Um, उसमें, I mean, a loss is a loss. Whether it's 3-0, 4-0, I wouldn't say that we played well because if we
Hmm.
played well, we would have won. Like I'm not trying to be, for me, the kind of mentality that I try to keep is like we play well if we win by a significant margin.
Hmm.
Like we lost, we didn't play well. Then
Gotcha.
um I feel like our main issue was building up again. We would lose the ball in like the midfield a lot. For example, me as a striker, um I felt like I had to run um chasing loose balls a lot. And plus, we didn't have any wingers either.
Yeah.
So like I was the
I
sole
mean, I think your
striker.
defense was pretty solid, but you were
Yeah,
lacking
the
on the
the
wings.
defense was amazing. But
Yeah.
again, you can't just play defensively, So
Yeah.
we had no wingers. I was the sole striker up above. So I felt like just chasing those balls. And then look, you can do that against a bad team, but against a team like Karachi City where the players are so good, I don't think you can that was the right move by us. Then we learned a lot from that match. And I feel like whenever we play Karachi City again, we will play better. Because now, at least I feel like I have a better understanding of what I have to do against their players. Because I've played with their players in the national team as well now, and two times in the championship. So I feel like if we were to play them again, we would do much better. But
Gotcha.
in those matches, it's just
How did it actually feel like? Like obviously you started from, like getting called up for Football Factory and then Pakistan national team. How did that feeling feel when you were first called up for the national team and when you found out that you were traveling to Saudi Arabia?
मेरे साथ basically इसी तरह हुआ था that before I got called up for Legacy and the national team,
Hmm.
I was playing
Hmm.
football for fun. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have any ambition. Like I would just play on and off, maybe once in 2 weeks or twice in 2 weeks, something like that. But after the national championship and after I got like the golden boot with Legacy and all of that, I actually felt like, okay, if I can do this with like such less training, so I want to train more. I got this drive, okay, now I want to see कि मैं कर क्या सकती हूँ if I actually properly train. How good of a
Hmm.
player can I become?
Hmm.
And then when I got called up for the national team, that again
Hmm.
strengthened my belief that maybe this is something that I should look into. Like after I got called up ना मेरे अंदर वो drive आ गई थी. Like I want to be the best and I want to play now. ये नहीं था that अब on and off football, yeah, none of that. I got serious and I actually like got serious in training as well. I was like, now I have the prospect of the national team. So now I have to earn it. I have to like be the best and I have to train to be the best. Like it really woke me up as to like how I can actually be a better footballer through training and all.
Gotcha.
Like I
So
actually started
coming
enjoying
from
football
that,
a lot
from that,
again.
what's your basic routine like after um maybe you can compare to your two routines while you're studying and then one of the routine while you're on camp or maybe even like training for a tournament.
Um, अच्छा, so before all of this now, my routine was just studying and studying. Bas. Lekin after all of this now, so when I went to camp, I was actually observing a lot. Okay, ये जो national players हैं, what's their diet like? What time do they wake up? How do they play? How do they train? All of this. And then now in like the best way I can, I'm trying to implement those as well. For example, I started waking up earlier. I've started tr at least trying to train on my own a little bit in the morning, whether it's just a run, whether it's a little bit of training, plyometrics, वगैरह. I've just like started doing a little bit of those in the morning. उसके अलावा where I wasn't so regular in training on the weekends with Legacy, अब वो भी मैंने like शुरू कर दिया. I've started becoming like regular
Mm-hmm.
with my training. I'm trying to implement like healthy lifestyle as well, like we do at camp. Like obviously you can't follow it completely while
Because regular
you're at
football
home.
available नहीं
Uh,
है ना country में, तो
yeah,
that's the main problem here.
exactly. But to the best of my abilities, मैं वो कर रही हूँ what we do in
For
camp
that,
as
I
well.
would put a word out there that we as a company, that's the main motto, that obviously हम federation नहीं है, so we can't create a tournament और हम वो चीज़ नहीं कर सकते, but we can do is that highlight players like yourself. Because इससे पहले अगर आप देखो कि पाकिस्तान में PFF का ये जो पेज वगैरह अब एक्टिव हुआ है, इससे पहले हमें ये भी नहीं पता होता था कि हमारी स्टार्टिंग 11 खेल क्या रही है। और उसको छोड़ो, हमें ये नहीं पता होता था कि हमारे एक डिपार्टमेंट्स में कौन प्लेयर्स खेल रहे हैं, ठीक है, बिसाइज पीपल लाइक मी वुड गो टू द मैचेस एंड वॉच देम। उसके अलावा हमारी लोकल जितनी भी फैन फॉलोइंग है उनको नहीं पता होता। दैट्स वेयर वी कम इन एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी ट्राइंग टू डू, व्हाट इज द मेन द मेन मकसद है इस पॉडकास्ट का एंड ऑल ऑफ द अदर थिंग्स दैट वी आर डूइंग। वी ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट अ कम्युनिटी एंड वी ट्राइंग टू हाईलाइट प्लेयर्स लाइक योरसेल्फ जो खेल रहे हैं। कीपिंग दैट असाइड, what do you think that something that you worked on really hard from the first camp, like a specific, what drill did you do to improve your maybe कोई set piece हो गया या something like that? Because the transition from a striker to midfielder, from a winger to a midfielder and then striker.
It's just the one thing that I worked on a lot now, जो सबसे ज़्यादा I worked on is
Hmm.
my physical fitness
Hmm.
because मेरा जो है ना I got um a sixth on the beep test I think, जो कि एक
Oh,
बहुत बुरा स्कोर होता है. तो
the heart breathing test,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. जो
Uh,
when you run from cone to cone,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
following
yeah.
a beep. Yeah. So I didn't get a good score at all on the beep test, and in all the other fitness tests, now I was really lacking. So when I came back from camp, now I truly worked a lot on those. So like
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
even now, I like try to do one beep test every 2 weeks just to like test myself, and a lot of intensive, high intensity workouts for like stamina and all. That's something that I've really worked on because वो पिछले camp में I lacked in those a lot. So
Gotcha.
I'm specifically working on those.
All right. Coming to the last part of the podcast, what do you think? What's your, opinion or suggestion, or one thing that you would put out for the girls who are maybe a lot younger than you and they're trying to come into football? Obviously, a big cheese निकल रही है पाकिस्तान में. So, what would be your suggestion to those girls? How can they improve, and how can they be, performing at the top level in Pakistan?
Okay, so for them, I would say that step one is joining a club. Joining a club is the most important thing because joining any club or academy, because वो जो the training that they'll give you ना, you won't be able to do those on your own. You can only do so much on your own. So पहले तो join a club. For seconds, I would say that individual training, like Joe, even if you like pass a ball to a wall and receive it, even that's
That's
like
the best training you
something.
can do on your
That's the
own,
best
like
training you
passing
can
to
do.
the wall. Yeah.
Like the amount that you'll improve individually is quite significant. The individual training is very important. And third, you have to be motivated. Like you have to find some sort of motivation to actually be consistent
But the
and
problem
actually
is that
train
in
properly.
Pakistan, we don't have that motivation. So, what was your
Exactly.
motivation? Like, why? What was your motivation, by the way? Playing. I mean, you knew कि एक national team है. अब हमें, for example, अगर हम Asia Cup की example ले लें, we are still unsure about that. Even I think from rumors I have heard they have literally backed out of it for the Women Asia Cup qualifiers. So, like, what do you think was your motivation?
अच्छा तो पहले my motivation like before the national camp and legacy उसमें because I used to play with the boys in my school ना तो that
Hmm.
was my motivation because everyone in my school they used to call me Messi like मेरा नाम ईमान नहीं था मेरा नाम मेसी था तो उस तरह से जो है ना I had this motivation like I play with these guys. I want to be on the like a level where I can play with them. मैंने ये नहीं करना. Because obviously being a girl and playing ना, you have to. There's a lot of pressure that you have to be
Ah,
good at this game.
yeah,
वरना
yeah,
उनके दिमाग में ये आ जाएगा that she's a girl, she can't play properly. So I think उस तरह से I really tried to be on a good level so that they won't get this idea. And
gotcha.
after legacy in the national championship and all, my motivation came from like the national team, like the prospect of the national team. Like for example, for me na, abhi, my motivation is that I can be called up for the national team at any time. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to be ready, and the next time I go, I have to be the best. You can call me delusional or whatever. Like, my goal is to be the best in legacy, the best in Pakistan, and the best in the national team. So that's what motivates me. Okay, abhi I'm on the bench. Next, get in the starting 11. Next, be the best in the starting 11. So
That's the
that's what
motivation.
motivates me.
That's the main, I think, ideology every professional footballer should have. So I think that's a really good thing to have. Coming to the last question, what do you think is the Pakistan's football's future overall? Do you think there is some future for someone maybe who's like 11, 10, and do you think things will improve?
I think that there is a future, but
Hmm.
if there is a league. अब आपने ये सुना होगा सारे कहते हैं कि लीग होनी चाहिए बट if not a league then at least tournaments every 3 months 4 months because um we have so much talent in Pakistan
I agree. I agree.
लेकिन yeah लेकिन to for people to actually unlock their talents and show off their talents they need to have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
No one is just going to play football for fun because there's so many other things in life that you need to focus on as well. So you need at least tournaments, but ideally a league. And if not a league, for those who can, they have to like try to go abroad. So मैं क्या कर रही हूँ? I'm trying to go abroad for university, play for
In the
some
US?
university team. Yep, in the US.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So that's what.
it is comparatively good, and especially what I have noticed, मैं यहीं पे खेल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, तो what I have noticed is that for female footballers, it's pretty, it's better than the male ones, at least on the university level, because there are a lot of universities who are focusing on American football, और वो basic football पे जो है ना उनकी सिर्फ female football team खेल रही है. So I think you could have like a good career अगर आप पाकिस्तान में you play really well even in the Pakistan national team, and you have a lot of matches under your belt. I think that's what matters the most. I think it would be a really good start. Yeah.
So I feel like that ये भी होना चाहिए. While there is a future for football in Pakistan,
Hmm.
but we need to implement some stuff like leagues or tournaments, etc., to
Hopefully
actually unlock that
it
future.
gets implemented. We are having I didn't get into the political questions, but hopefully there is a league, whatever it is, like a franchise league or a club league. That's a separate topic, but hopefully things do get better. Well, thank you so much for coming up and talking about your experience. It was wonderful having you. It was wonderful hosting you and talking about all of those things. I am hoping to see you soon after maybe in the tournament or friendlies. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Take care, Allah Hafiz.